3, 2, 1. Let's get into it.
We're into it.
Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Get Into It. This is our end of the year holiday show.
This is our Christmas show.
This is going to be a good one because it's a really good time to be grateful for all the things that you have in your life, for sure. Right? To really,
I agree.
Yeah, to really think about your health, your kids if you have kids, your significant other.
This show,
Davey Dave and Teddy.
You guys.
right? You know, I found too, Roberts, that like when I did start becoming more grateful about what I had and not bitching about what I didn't have, more things started happening for me.
Right.
You know, because I wasn't expending that energy on like, only if I had this or that. No, I was like, hey, dude, I got some cool shit going on.
What about you, David?
No, I feel the same way. I mean, I don't like to I'm usually very optimistic.
Yeah.
Like 98%.
Yeah.
Like that 2% creeps in, but usually I'm like, hey, man, I got air in my lungs. You know, I have people around me who love me.
Yeah.
I found you guys.
Yeah.
Because you guys challenge me all the time, which is no, because I need
Oh, you
that.
are challenged, yeah.
Because I need that.
Mostly with that drive out.
In the rain.
Yeah.
We are
Me too.
not in Pink Taco today.
We're not.
We're not.
We're in La Casa de Roberts.
That's right.
This is nice.
It's a beautiful
really
day
nice.
here, isn't it? I mean,
Great
it's just
coffee,
gorgeous.
too.
Oh yeah. By the way, we had a little
Delicious.
bit of French press.
Yeah.
Can't get this at Access, Teddy.
No,
No.
I
I
can't.
I mean, Roberts
dude.
can.
I can get it
So-
at Access.
Davey Dave, are you familiar with the ongoing coffee thing at Access?
I think it's hilarious, man.
Access has a green room that is beautiful. I don't know the lady's name, but you walk in there and the light is dimmed to like the perfect level.
Yep.
You've got Sinatra playing in the background softly.
Fireplace going
She's
in
got
the
a
corner.
fireplace. There's a piano in there. You've got like the different levels of food. So you've got like everything's vertical. So
Yep.
everything's standing up maybe a foot. And then you have like these delicious
Great
little
snacks,
cakes and
all kinds of
snacks and
stuff.
fruit. And then she has this never-ending tree of cups. And the cups are nice and round. You know, they could fit about 16 ounces in them. They're not
Yeah.
8-ounce cups.
Good
you know?
weight to them, too. Nice and heavy.
And you can tell she takes care in the coffee. Like she grinds the coffee.
Yeah.
It smells good in
It
there.
smells
Yeah.
good in there. So long story short, I say to Tootie, let's go have a cup of coffee one day. And I turn to the green room and he turns down the hall. And I was like, wait, oh. I was like, where are you going, man? Let's go in the green room because there's really wonderful atmosphere in here. It's beautiful. And he says, and you know what? The coffee out here is just as good. And I'm looking at like this K-Cup
On the cart.
4-year-old coffee maker made by Krups. And I'm thinking, what? No.
Paper cups.
Dude, I said, have you been in this room? Like, it's like
magic
it's
in
like a spa. And he's like, no, it's good out here. It's good. Come, Roberts, come on, it's good out here. Look, come here, I'll show you. I was like, no, I'm not going that way, dude. So I turn right and I go into the green room, and I think he'll just follow me automatically because you know when you turn around and just go, you figure whoever you're with is just gonna go. Well, I'll go
All
with
right,
it.
fine.
So I go get my coffee. I say hello to the lady. She's kind. I say, is it okay if I take the cup out of the room? Sure, take the cup. Just make sure you bring the cup back. I said, sure, I'll bring the cup back. So I walk out and Titty's 50 yards away
Down the
at a
hall.
Krups machine, right? Opening like the little thing and putting it, and he gets his coffee. And he's walking down with this rickety 6-ounce
Dixie cup.
Dixie cup,
It's actually 8, but okay.
and I'm sitting there with my
Imported
ceramic. The steam's coming up in my face. I'm practically getting a facial from it, like a coffee facial. And I look over at Tootie, and he's walking down, and as he's walking, like the coffee's spilling out of the.
There's no stirrer.
There's no stir. It's hot as hell, but it's burnt. It's like horrible.
So we have a very funny joke running that he cannot go in that room, and just to finalize that story, theoretically you can't go in that room because it's not for crew, right?
No,
Is that
it's
it?
not for crew, but the lady's cool. Like if I went in there and like I've gone in there before. And,
You're telling a tall tale.
I
now.
know,
You can't
but
go
it's
in
just
there.
kind of like one of
Otherwise
these
you would have gone in
things.
there.
Yeah, but I just don't want to make it a habit because if I go in there and get coffee, I'm sure she would. But if I could, I'd only be able to do it one time.
Rio's
and-
going to hear about it. He'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, fucking Tootie, you can't go in there, dude. What
Well,
are you
no.
doing?
Well, of course, he sends it. Hey, Tony, go on the thing and just give me a. I go, dude, I'm not going to go in there and get you a plate of food, dude. Do you understand? Like, he's like, no, it'll be fine, dude. You're making a big deal.
Mario Lopez tells you to get in there and get him some food, but you
Yeah.
can't go in and say, I'm getting it from Mark, because she'll look at you like you're lying.
Yeah, well,
like,
I
yeah,
could probably
dude.
do it every once in a while. Hey, this is for Lopez. But if I went in there and said, said, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, I got a cup of coffee and
Hey,
some bagels.
but if you're listening, you just have to picture like this beautiful, like heavenly room that you walk in and you immediately feel 10 pounds lighter. You feel like the cares of the world are gone.
Yeah.
And then this delicious coffee, and Tootie can't have it.
He'll say, randomly, I'll be at home and I'll get a text message. I'll look and it's his mug holding a cup, blowing into it, like so stupid.
Delicious. But it was like looking at you down the hall with a Dixie cup of coffee was like looking at someone in like the dead of winter while I'm inside with a fireplace and a cardigan sweater on. Like,
is it kind of like remember? What was the movie with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, Trading Places?
Yeah, it was exactly like
he's
that.
Santa
You're
Claus
homeless.
And he's outside. He's looking inside at the party going on.
Yep.
Yes, it's exactly
like
what it looked
stupid.
like. Moving on, it is the holiday season. It's Christmas movie. So let's talk about what our favorite Christmas movies are.
I'll start.
Go ahead, Dave. Dave.
My top 3 are going to be Die Hard, and I don't care if anybody says it's not a Christmas movie. You guys can fight me.
Right.
And then we'll go Christmas Vacation,
Nice. Okay.
and of course Home Alone.
Yeah. Does Bruce Willis say ho, ho, ho?
But Alan Rickman does.
Oh, he does?
He goes, now I have a machine gun. Ho,
ho, ho. But doesn't he say ho, 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 mother effer?
No, yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh, that's not the same.
Oh, come on.
That's legendary, but it's not the same.
But is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah, it
Hey,
is.
whoa.
Wait,
Why-
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, you
there's
were
no
saying we're not gonna
question.
fight,
There's
but-
no question that it happens during Christmas.
Exactly.
It happens during Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I want to know, which we'll never know, but this is a good conversation for writers and producers out there. There's a very good chance that the guys that made that movie thought the Christmas movie gave them all more excuses to get into trouble, right? Because it's Christmas. You've got everyone at the
Yeah.
Christmas party, the executives, everyone's locked into this room.
Yeah. There's no one around.
Security's a little lax. They're
Relax.
bringing in presents all
Yeah.
day long, bags and bags of stuff. So, easy way to get in weapons, probably.
Well, why did he come to the coast? Because it's holiday. He's off. So
Yeah.
he had to come visit his kids, go see his ex-wife.
That's right.
In
It
a
is
fight with his ex-wife about Christmas,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So that is a Christmas movie wrapped in an action film, which it probably entertained and sold all over the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
Bruce
that's
Willis
a
was
good
huge
one.
at that time. He's still big.
What were the other two?
Christmas Vacation.
Which, everyone
I
loves
walked
Christmas
out on the
Vacation.
plane ride a
Hey,
couple
dude,
days ago.
no one understands what you're saying with a Christmas cookie in your mouth, dude.
No chips, Christmas cookies. I got to go Christmas cookies.
Italian Christmas cookies.
These
I'm
are
pretty sure
delicious.
those like have 350 calories in them.
good for you.
Well, I'm
Each.
starving. What do you want me to do?
So, like, Christmas Vacation is like a staple in our family for since it came out.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And we recite those lines.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so
Say the
great.
blessing.
Hilarious.
It's great. And then Home Alone, of course.
Home Alone.
That one's just
classics. But those are classics.
super
Dude.
classic.
I mean, the one out of the box one is definitely Die Hard, but it is absolutely a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So what about you, man? What are your Christmas movies?
My top 3, in this order: 3, A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Come on. Sentimental. Me and my brother used to watch it all the time because it would loop. We didn't have cable.
Do you still watch it?
I don't, because we don't watch TV at my house. It's a different story.
All right.
Next, Frank Capra, A Wonderful Life.
Frank Capra's wonderful. That's going to be my number one.
Yeah, I didn't mean to jack you.
That's right.
My number 1 movie, A Family Man. Has anybody seen it?
Yeah.
Wait, who's in that?
Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
That was one of my dad's favorites.
Is it? Was it really?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
the one where he gets the opportunity to be married to the woman that he wasn't married to? Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it is. He's an investment banker, Wall Street guy, living the life in New York, and he ends up seeing what it had been like if he had gone the other way.
Those are always great. That's sort of the plot of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Those are great movies. I, like you, Tootie, my number one film is It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I don't think I watched It's a Wonderful Life until I got into my 30s. Like, I don't know that it was of interest to me. Like, I didn't watch movies like that. But when I watched it, I remember crying like a baby, like uncontrollable sobbing when I finished watching that movie the first time.
Yeah.
So now every year I watch that film during Christmas because there's a certain grateful feeling that you get from watching a film like that. You really, I don't know, there was something about how Capra did that. You
Sure.
can't take
Hello.
away from Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart sells the hell out of that. And when he's in that bar saying, God, I'm not a praying man. Show me the way. Show me. I mean, it is so emotional that I can't help but choke up, because that's a prayer that resonates, with a lot of people. And I think that particular scene takes you to another level of the film. And then, of course, the ending when everyone, spoiler alert, the
now
ending
tonight,
and everyone helps him out.
Okay, if you haven't seen it since 1934.
Big question.
But I can't. But I don't have another one.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I like others. I like Vacation. I like a lot of Christmas Vacation. I like a lot of other films, but that is one that I actually have in my collection. Like,
do you still watch it
every year?
Oh, wow.
Every year.
What about Holiday in Handcuffs? You know,
I do not. And full disclosure, I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
Fez, come on, man.
So wait, question for you. Tonight, I got to wrap gifts when I get home. I'm going to watch
waste
movies.
Of time.
I know. I have to though.
I know, dude.
Don't wrap them, just throw them in the Ralph's bag. And
No,
put
you
them
can't do that. You can't do that. Remember back in the day? I remember back in the day we would just use newspaper.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Wrap it however you want.
With a
Oh, I
bow.
got your gift. Hang on a second. I forgot. It's in my room.
Here it is. Here it is.
But getting back to Christmas movies,
How many Christmas movies are you making right now, Robert?
well, I'm not making any yet, but I'm in development with Mario on a film called Feliz Navidad at Lifetime, which we're currently working on the script with Peter Murrieta and his wife, Lisa.
You guys had a good meeting the other day.
We had a great meeting. But I want to talk, for filmmakers out there, producers, directors, writers, I kind of want to talk about how the market is for Christmas movies, in case you want to get in it, because the market is wide open.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have to be smart. If you're a young filmmaker, you have to be smart about your dealings in this arena, because Lifetime does them a certain way. They have commercial breaks. Netflix does them a certain way. They have 0 commercial breaks. Hallmark has commercial breaks. So if you have a great idea for a Christmas movie and you write it, or you have a great writer write it, and then you go to a streamer or a network or whatever, and someone says, we want to buy it, there's a very good chance, and I'm not saying every time, okay? I'm saying there's a very good chance that 9 out of 10 times you're not going to get to produce that movie the way you want to produce it. And I'm going to say this because it's true. There is a system and an average budget to the Lifetime movies, to the Netflix movies, to the Freeform movies, to all of these movies. Unless you're Kurt Russell or someone who sold a big Christmas movie like Elf, then those are different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 100 or so movies that they're making on streamers and networks every year that are all budgeted under $2 million, somewhere near 1.5 sometimes. And you go in and you sell it, you're not going to get rich.
No.
What it's going to be is an opportunity to get to know these companies. If you sell it directly to them, they might say, we need you to work with a producer we've worked with, because they know the breaks, they know how to Lifetime-ize this movie, or they know how to Hallmark-ize this movie, or they know how to Netflix-ize this movie, right? Because these networks have their own special secret sauce. Now, you wrote a script, or you're buying a script that's a Christmas movie, and you don't know who it's going to yet.
So do you recommend then for writers to find kind of like, well, where am I going to take this?
I'm telling you specifically, I don't think you groom it for any network. I think you go into a network, and when they say, like, we really like this, but we need more romance, we need less this, it's too big in scope, we're going to have to,
stick
bring
to the formula.
Yeah. I mean, we're being asked to eliminate entire characters, because there's just too many characters in the movie. We need to up the level of the female part in our movie, because it's Lifetime. Lifetime is about female movies, right? Female storylines. Not always, and not completely 100%, but definitely it's got to be equal to the male starring character, right?
Yeah.
You've got to have enough in there that feel good about the romance and the female character and the male character. They have to be equal. So if you think about that as a producer, if you think, I'm going to team up with someone. I'm not going to be Scorsese on this. It's not your independent film that you're going to get to control and do whatever you want. You're going to work with someone. You're going to meet some people, meet some executives, meet some directors, writers. You're going to make a step forward in your career by just being part of it and being the catalyst behind it happening. Yep. But you may not get to produce it the way you want to produce it for a while.
Yeah, like yours, Teddy. I mean, would you be comfortable and say, hey, if they did buy it, hey, well, we have to change
everything
about it?
No, I'd tell them to go screw it. No, I'm joking. Of course I would, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, I think that if you're listening and it's of interest to you, if it's a thriller, if it's a Christmas movie, which they're making lots of, go high concept with it. Either go to a writer or pitch it to a company that's doing a bunch of these movies for the networks already, and make it easy on yourself, you know? Come up with the best ideas you can come up with, team up with other companies that are doing what you want to do, and learn from those companies. And maybe a few films down the line, you'll be that company handling those movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Christmas movies, you just have to be smart about where you're going with them as a producer. You have to understand that the business is already running, and it's not going to stop everything just because you have a good idea.
Oh, this is good coffee. We got good coffee over at Robert's.
But I'll give you the anatomy of the deal that I have that you were asking about. I'll give you, the name of the movie is called Feliz Navidad. Okay?
Dad.
It's called Feliz Navidad, father, right? And Mario has been doing films in this arena for a while, and they've been successful. Like, what if we produced them? What if we came up with ideas that were Latino, that had that looked like us?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Okay, let's do it." And I said, "Okay, well, let's do it." And he goes, "Well, okay, so what's the idea?" I said, "I don't know. What do you think the idea? I don't know. What do you think? How hard could it?" He says, "How hard could it be?" He goes, "Okay, here you go. Single dad, hates Christmas, falls in love with somebody because his daughter sets him up." And I said, and I said, "That sounds great." He goes, "Yeah, and let's use the song Feliz Navidad for the basis to the story, since it's a Latino name and could be cool." And then somehow we came up with Feliz Navidad, and that, what I just said, and the name of that song, and then the new title ended up becoming the catalyst behind the idea. Did we have more than that? A little bit. Did we know exactly how the story went? No. Did we know who the characters were? No. Did we go to some writers and say exactly what I just said as a pitch? Yes. And those writers started figuring out what the storylines were. So we took pitches from various writers based on that storyline.
What's that?
They let me pitch them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Tootie pitched us an idea. Tootie and Cessna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cessna.
Based on your idea.
Sesma, based on my idea, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sesma.
Yeah, Sesma wants to do it. Like, even these guys passed. He's like, dude, I'm going to take this out and shop it. He's doing a lot of
We didn't
right
pass because it was bad. We passed because there was something that felt a little bit more connected to the story that we were thinking
all right,
about.
We'll just go out and make it.
I'm going to go one step further for the people that are listening that go out and raise their own money. We actually went to an investor and said, we'd like you to invest in the script. You don't have to invest in the movie because that's millions of dollars. Let's invest in the script. And if something happens,
that's a good idea.
You get paid a premium for the script for that money. And then we will give you an option to fund the movie if you want. And if we can find another funder, then we'll just pay you for the part that you did participate on.
Okay, hold on. With that said, going back to the conversation earlier where you said each place has their own format. Lifetime likes this, Freeform likes this. Now, Amazon, where you could just put up your movie because you're doing your stuff right there. Could you do exactly what you just said with an investor, fund the movie, fund the script? If they like it, then they fund the film. And then you put your own Christmas movie up on Amazon. You could do that potentially, right?
Yeah.
So you could still kind of, as an independent filmmaker, control your product.
Yeah, but I have to. You're absolutely right. The problem I see, and this is totally personal, people can disagree because I would disagree if I was 20. But the problem with putting up your own movie is that you are now working outside of the system. Do you want to be part of Hollywood, or do you want to be on the outskirts of it doing your own thing?
Well, you want to be in it. Yeah.
You get an investor to fund the script. You get a great writer. Everyone passes. You ask them to fund the movie. They fund the movie. You make it. You put it up on Amazon.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of films on Amazon that are done like that don't make any money, and it's not the fault of the movie, but there's no marketing. You have no real marketing for that. There's nowhere for people to understand, except for like the 500 people that are following you on Facebook.
Yeah.
But then what?
Comes down to the marketing.
Well, there's no marketing, and look,
that's true.
in my older age, as an older producer, I would say I don't want to make a movie that the networks don't want to make. I don't want to make a movie that I send a script and then the studios say, you know what, it's not this, it's not that. If I agree with those comments, if I agree with the coverage, I'm going to not make that movie. I don't care how much I like it. If I agree with the pass, I'm passing because, then I won't make it. I can't make that. I can't take that risk anymore.
But what you're telling me, it's come down to the marketing.
It's
those
complicated.
Those studios have the marketing dollars to get it out there.
And this is my opinion. It may not be absolutely true because the industry is changing so fast every day. But I would say that it's harder now to make independent film than it ever was. And it's mainly because, back in the day, you could sell your film on video, on DVD. You can guarantee a sale to Blockbuster. You can guarantee a sale to Hollywood Video. I don't know if you guys remember those places, but
there's only one Blockbuster left. It's in Oregon.
Right. But yeah, you could guarantee sales to those guys. You can guarantee sales on DVD, with companies that were plugged in.
Yeah.
And you could tell your investor, I'll give you'll make 50% back, but we're gambling on the rest of it. Yeah. And then you went out and you worked your butt off. Now there's a system that you can still make your movie, sell it overseas, get a big star, try to make your money back that way. That still exists. Yeah. But now that you have all the streamers making this many movies every year, you've got an influx of movies that are being made in the $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million range, and they're being funded by real companies that are going to put it on their platform. So there's not as big a need for the independent film unless it's perfect, unless it's absolutely a juggernaut. Yeah. Like if people know it based on a book, based on a hit TV show, based on a YouTuber that has 30 million followers, then you got something immediately. But if you don't, and it's just an idea, it's just going to be a good movie with a bunch of actors that people don't know, it's going to be very difficult to sell that. I'm sorry. It's just the truth that no independent filmmaker wants to hear. All right. Thank you for listening.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And you know what? A Happy New Year to you, too. Now go make your movie, you dumb.
No, it's complicated. It's very complicated.
It's always complicated, but that's why we keep fighting.
I don't think it's complicated. We just overcomplicate it. It's really simple.
It is very simple. I think that if you're listening and you take some of what that advice is, I don't want people to think that they can't go out and make what they want and make a difference in the world, but you've got to be realistic. If you want to work in the system that's functioning right now, think about if you're an executive and someone comes to you with an idea and that person's never made a movie before, or they've made a couple, or they work in reality but now they're going into scripted. You want them to succeed. You like their idea. You're going to connect them with someone else. You're obviously going to make less money because the expert in that field is going to make most of the green.
It's just putting that artistic ego aside.
If you like, going back to your idea, you go make a movie. It's not perfect. You don't love it, but you made it in 5 months. It got made, and by the next 3 months, it was on TV, and you were enjoying the light of doing something positive. And all of a sudden, people are turning to you, going like, "Wow, you're doing stuff. Let's work together." And you have other things to do. So instead of complaining for 2 years about like my movie didn't get made properly, you can turn it into you made 3 movies in that time, and maybe one of those is great.
Well, you know what? Funny you should say that. Look,
you're eating again.
Oh,
it's not clear. I can't hear you. I need to hear everything you're saying.
It's funny you should say that, Robert. The people.
Well, I don't want to go back on what I've said on the podcast before. I think that working and doing stuff independently and getting people to trust you and to do more of that within that world is a good thing. Because you hone skills, you work with crews, you work with cameras, you work with directors, you work with writers. You're in there trying to learn the trade while you do the trade. Right. And a lot of us sort of get in the business that way. Like you don't come out of film school, right? A lot of us just get into it. So I think that it's good that you continue to work with people that are willing to spend their money on independent films, whether they're shorts or not. But you have to ask yourself, look, it's the end of 2019. You have to ask yourself what 2020 is going to look like. Is it going to look like scrappy, raising money, making shorts, trying to do films that are indie out of the system and then go to Sundance and sell it? Or is it going to be a year of working to get together with other production companies that are making many, many films a year for these streamers, for the, the studios is hard. They're only making Marvel stuff now.
Yeah.
You got to find the places that are doing like the indie coming of age movies, if that's what you're into, or some dramas. And I'm not speaking out of school. I did a film that went to Sundance.
Yeah.
I did a film where I sold at Sundance. I've been to many of the film festivals. I've done independent films that I made all by myself with a bunch of money from somebody else and then not sold those films. So I've been there. If I had to do it again, I would have spent most of my time trying to work within the system, not trying to prove that I should be in the system, because you never prove it. Some people do, but it's 1 out of 10 people that do that.
See, I just feel like it's hard to get in the system.
Not if that's what you're focused on.
Like,
team up with people, get your ego out of the game, and figure out how to make deals on the ideas that you have. Don't take anything personal. If everyone passes on your idea, come up with another one. Find out why they passed on it and try to add that element to your next pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my opinion. I think, like I said,
I like that idea. I like that approach, but I feel like people, like, say, for instance, I took that route, and it would come down to the same thing. Like, who is he? What has he done? Why do we need him? Let's take his idea. Let's make it.
No,
we'll give you a story
not everyone does that.
But then
that's true. That's going to happen.
Continuously, like, okay, you got the story by title. Cool. My foot's in the door. Then I do something else. You know what I mean? Like, how do you? How do you break it? How do you become somebody in that business?
If you're listening and you are struggling with this exact question, you have to decide: are you willing to risk it all on red?
Yeah.
For you to potentially have the clout to be the one that a studio or executive goes to say, okay, you're not story by, you're written by, and you're producer of the movie, go. Like, that's not going to happen that often.
No.
You're going to have to be Rodriguez or Tarantino.
Yeah.
Because I can't name another person that's done that and that people are like, holy mackerel, like, we're not even going to be able to touch this. Go do what you want to do. If you are a person that just wants to make some money, have ideas, and grow into that position, grow into the producer position, grow into the director position, then take the associate producer credit on your first idea. Yeah, it's your idea. So what?
But will they even give you that? That's
I don't know.
Well,
we're talking about a fictitious whole deal, but if I was to tell you that there's more of a chance,
such a tight group, and it's like a club,
but
you're trying to get in the club, and they're like, oh, what's your idea? Oh, that's a good idea. We like that, but
close the door.
Close the door. We got it. Hey, so that was pretty good. Let's do it. Let's change this.
That may happen.
And
that may
happens
happen
all the time.
And it may happen.
Then you're outside the door.
So you're willing to put it all on red on yourself?
No, I'd like to work in that in that format.
Then you have to get rid of the conversations that include your idea being stolen. You have to negotiate yourself ahead of time. Like, if you start with, I'm going to be the producer of this movie, and they all say okay, there's a very good chance that you'll negotiate yourself at least some level of producer credit. Right. And if you don't, how many more ideas do you have? You can't survive in this business with one idea.
No.
You've got to have a bunch of ideas. You've got to have 10, 20, and you've got to be willing to pull them out at different levels. Oh, over here I'm doing an indie and you're going to pay for it. Okay, I'm producing it. I'm the producer. Oh, over here we're going to do it with Lifetime and they don't need me and I'm not really part of that deal and I'm going to get a consultant or consulting producer credit. Fine, I'll take that. Let's go. What do I get paid? Oh, you get paid $25,000. You get paid $20,000. You get paid $10,000. You get paid $100,000. Like, you don't know, right? You have no idea. I can tell you that these budgets are lower now, and they're acceptable to the TV terms. Why? Because you have better cameras. You have Aries out there being rented for less. You've got beautiful shots being shot in low light. You can shoot a movie with less crew. You can shoot a movie with less crew now. So, are the budgets coming down? Yeah. And are they being accepted as broadcast quality movies? Yeah. So get with the idea that if you're an indie, you can do it all. Me personally, I'm kind of, it would have to be a unique situation, a unique script for me to go raise money and do an indie not connected to anything, because I feel like it takes up lots of years of your life, and I just don't want to work that way anymore. If I was 20, I would do it.
Right.
And I did do it for many, many years. I did indies, and I did them the way I had to do them. Some sold, some didn't. So just to get off of this subject, but I think it's super important. I think we covered the whole thing.
Yeah, we did.
You need to decide what your 2020 is going to look like. If it's going to look like you want to work within the system, you want to be a filmmaker inside, then accept smaller credits, move your ideas up the ladder, do more movies so that you can say, I did this last one, I was associated on the last one, I'm not going to take less than a producer on this one. So you have some clout or level. You know, if you've done indies like you, Tootie, if you've done indies where you were producer director, then you can step in at with a different bargaining chip. You can say, look, I've done 3 indies, I've been to film festivals, I've done a full feature. You know, I've done stuff, so I'm not a novice. You know, I need to get a decent credit on this. You can have the idea, but I need a decent credit and part of the producer pool money and a little bit of back end. And then you start negotiating your deals and moving forward. But you're not going to just, there is this amazing thing about show business that it requires a collaboration. Yeah, some producers get a stranglehold on making the money. They do. They know how to do it. They're trusted. They know how to pad here and there and make their dough. There's nothing wrong with that. Get in on the wave. Get your ideas out there. Get your movies made. Don't get stuck on what credit you have to have. Just keep working.
Big picture.
You got to think big picture. Yeah. All right. So, well, that was a great conversation about product and what you're going to do in the year 2020.
I know what you guys are going to be doing in the year 2020.
What's that?
Cinco de Mayo, you're going to be coming to the premiere of Made in Mexico.
So the year's ending. Where did you end the year with Made in Mexico?
I'm shipping off probably in the next day or two to Joel C. High.
So then music's going to start happening.
Sound design.
Terrific. So you were locked on picture?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
With the
Congratulations.
exception of a couple little...
You're a good example of what I'm suggesting other people do. If you haven't done it or haven't done a lot of it, just keep doing it. Be willing to collaborate. You know, I was reading Bob Iger's book with my wife, and it's pretty remarkable because he talks about how he bought Star Wars and Lucasfilm. And let me tell you, I don't want to go into a lot of detail because people should listen to this book or at least read it. The name of the book is Ride of a Lifetime, written by Bob Iger about his journey as CEO of Disney. But I want to talk about this specifically because it'll relate to what we've been talking about. He went to Lucas after buying Marvel, after buying Pixar, went to Lucas and said, would you be open to selling Lucasfilm? Lucas said, yeah, but I want the Pixar deal or the Marvel deal. So Bob Iger's very adamant about saying he had to be honest with him or he knew he would lose the deal. So he was like, look, I can't give you creative control of anything because the board's not going to allow it. And we're not going to pay $4 billion for your company to give you the ability to do whatever you want.
Right.
Like that's not how Disney works.
Right.
Disney works. We own it. We control it. We decide who makes it. We decide the storylines that happen. So they agreed. And I don't know if you've noticed, but George Lucas is pretty bummed about the movies, about the storylines, about...
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's not happy because what happened was they came in. What happened was.
Your Honor, what happened was.
It's a remarkable success story what he did with Star Wars, and now Disney had to take over. And unfortunately, as a creator and as a filmmaker, he just was not consulted in the way that he would have liked to be consulted. But isn't that something? I mean, think about this. If you were George Lucas and you had created one of the biggest franchises of all time, maybe the biggest, you get bought by Disney, you get a bunch of money, but you are not the driving force behind any of the ideas. And we don't have any obligation. We have no obligation to go with what you're saying. The last thing I'll say about this, which I think is really important, which is what connects to what we're talking about.
It happens at every level.
But what George Lucas was doing probably pretty good before the $4 billion. I mean, did he need the $4 billion? Did he need so he I don't want to say
I don't even think it's
out.
about the money, dude. I think it's about the creative.
Well, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really not about the money because he was doing. I doubt he was going to lose everything.
No, I
But
think
did he sell out? Is that what it is?
It was more money than he could ever have imagined. I think it's more money than anyone ever needs, really, $4 billion. It paid off big time for Disney, but then look at the other side. You have to put on the hat of the person that you're dealing with, the executives and the companies that you're dealing with, and what's at stake for them by doing your films. What Disney had to do was take this IP and make sure that they didn't offend every single Star Wars fan by doing crazy stuff like what George wanted to do, which was bring in new characters, new worlds, really give them something different. Well, what did Disney say? Well, dude, if we do that, then they'll blame it on Disney that we changed everything.
Right.
So there was this argument about...
What could we do? What could we not do?
What could we do? What can we not do? George wanted to give new worlds, new ideas. I'm with Disney now. Let's create a new thing.
Yeah.
Let's go off to other things
Galaxies.
and new characters.
Yeah.
And Disney was like, we're going to do 3 right here because we need to prove to the fans that we're not here to change this. We're going to give them what they want, and they're going to be happy about it. Maybe it's not going to be a critical success, but give them a little different look here and there. I just watched the other Star Wars last night, and I was really satisfied with it as a fan of Star Wars. There was some new stuff in it, but for the most part, it just followed the same storyline, and it was very satisfying. Disney had to do the right thing for their shareholders by entertaining new Star Wars fans, by giving them the stories of the past, so that the parents of those Star Wars fans could also come in and enjoy the film. So I think they did, in hindsight, they did the right thing.
They played it safe.
They picked up probably $12 billion in the process. They paid $4 for the movie, but that's the whole idea, right?
Wow.
The whole idea is for them to make money on what they're buying. And what
all levels.
What I will say about Disney, which I think is terrific, is that they stand behind the things that they buy, and they go neck deep in trying to sell it, and they care about the audiences that care about those franchises. A lot of people buy stuff and don't take advantage of it. Disney's not that company. So Lucas should just go create something else. You know, I understand, but he didn't have to take the $4 billion. He didn't.
You're right.
He could have just said, you know what, I'm good, Disney. But who doesn't want Disney to protect your legacy, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Star Wars movies going to be coming. They've got the Mandalorian, Mando.
Yeah, that thing killing it.
You got Baby Yoda killing it. I mean, Disney's just taking care of the legacy and making sure that it's going to live on way, way beyond George Lucas's lifespan. Right. So that's what he sold his company for, and I think Bob Iger and everyone involved with that is taking care of that.
Did they let him have a little bit of a say?
Yeah, they consult him, but bottom line is he's not the decision maker. Yeah. So he was bummed when J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and Lawrence Kasdan came in and met with him, because Bob didn't set him up. He didn't say, like, oh, by the way, we're not using any of your ideas, just FYI. He didn't say that. So they went into the meeting. J.J. threw his ideas out, and he was like really pissed. Wow. So if you're interested in hearing how Marvel happened, how the sale for Pixar happened, the sale of George Lucas and Star Wars happened. I'm just at the part where he's buying Fox. So
that's crazy.
In his tenure, he bought 4 of the biggest companies in the world in entertainment, and they're really taking over the world. So it's a really cool book. And if you think about your life and your future as a filmmaker is huge. So collaborate. Take lesser credits once in a while. If you can get the big credit, then you'll get the big credit. If you can't, go participate. Be someone who's valuable in a project. Yeah. I think that's important. Yeah. Something else to connect to the Christmas spirit and the Christmas time. If you're a filmmaker and you're making movies about Christmas, or you have a scene about Christmas, there are songs in the public domain that you can use for $0. You have to record your own version. You can't use someone else's version, because then you have to pay for it. Like if you recorded a version, Tootie, and I want to use that, we have to pay you.
Perfect. That's right.
But I can't. But I don't have to pay for the song itself. So here's some of the songs that are available to you as a filmmaker. Like your character could sing it. Angels We Have Heard on High.
You're talking for Christmas movies.
Christmas movies, yeah. You've got Auld Lang Syne. That's kind of fun. That's in It's a Wonderful Life. We've got Deck the Halls. Feliz Navidad is not in the public domain.
I've been listening to that right now at home.
The First Noel is in public domain.
Not the second?
Not the second Noel, no. Jingle Bells, Joy to the World. All of these songs are public domain. You can record them or have your character sing them in your movie and not have to pay a dime for it and feel like you spent a little bit of money. Not everyone knows this. But if you go online to Google and see like what are the songs in public domain that are Christmas, all of these songs come up and you can use them however you want. Yeah.
Have Lopez sing some of those.
Lopez can't sing. That's the only problem. So the other thing...
Make him, though. They're a challenge.
All right, so we have a special guest. Her name is Ann Lewis Roberts, coming in on Christmas
Eve.
The Christmas show. It's exciting to have her here because the whole show is really about what are you doing in 2020. Now, we've talked about film a lot. Now we're going to be talking about non-scripted, which is her domain. She's also a writer in her own right. She writes scripts and stuff like that. But really, her bread and butter is in non-scripted. But welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome back, Ann.
Welcome back.
To be here.
So what we want to get into is Ann's work, which is in selling ideas for non-scripted television. She has done some holiday stuff, which is kind of fun. It fits right into what we're doing. So we'll talk about how she got that done. But the name of the show that you did for Disney...
Decorating Disney Holiday Magic.
Decorating Disney Holiday Magic. Who doesn't want to see that?
I do.
I do. So tell us about that show. What is that show about?
Decorating Disney is about the transformation at the parks all over the world, actually, from Halloween to Christmas. And we got to go behind the scenes on all the rides, all the hotels, and see how they do it. And it's hundreds of thousands of people who get together and make a map. The map starts the day after they take down the ornaments and everything from the year before, and they make a map about how they're going to transform the parks, because Christmas is a big deal at Disneyland. Christmas is a big deal for everybody now, I think, across the board. All the theme parks do it. Yeah. But Disney was the original.
How many nights or days does it take to transform from regular Disney to Halloween and from regular Disney to Christmas?
Here's the secret. You guys don't know it, but they start in August, and they start putting out a little teeny bit each day. And you think it's not Christmas, but it's just a build up.
It's like garland goes up.
Yeah, a little more red goes over here, a little more green goes over here. And then the day after Halloween, or that night, everybody comes in, and it's a 24-hour situation, but 8 of it happens when no one's there. But they won't close the park. So for the second it closes, and here's another secret: you are never kicked out of the parks, right? So the park could close at 11 or 12, but if you're wandering around,
that's true.
Looking at things, no one is ever going to kick you out. So they can't start until if you go with your family,
that's true.
And you
I've
are
hung around after it
wandering.
closed.
Yeah, and looking through windows, they'll sort of be behind you, but they want you to have a good time. And if it's eye candy, they won't kick you out. So sometimes they're sitting around waiting. They're like 50 bulldozers and bringing in the big tree. But, there's people going, la, 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 I'm hanging out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So 24 hours to Christmas eyes the entire park?
I want to say over 6 weeks they do it, but there is one big, massive night after Halloween is over. For example, the castle, the turrets. That night, they bring in turrets that have snow and icicles all over them. So they'll bring in a bunch of huge cranes. And in that 8-hour chunk, the castle will go from not Christmas to a complete winter wonderland.
So by the time Halloween comes around, what percentage of Christmas is up by Halloween?
It's about 20% because they
not
don't want
that
you to
much.
notice
right.
it.
Okay,
No.
so not that much. So that in that 8-hour period, like a ton of work happens.
Massive
right?
amount. We were let into the Haunted Mansion, and Carlos with a K has worked there and overseen the transformation there for 10 years. And Carlos with a K
of just the Haunted Mansion.
Well, that's his big thing, because he works in Imagineering for food. So there's somebody who a year in advance is thinking, what is the Christmas food we're going to have next year?
Wow.
And so, all for the beignets have, little Christmas themes, and they'll probably have a Star Wars Christmas theme this year because that's fun. But Carlos with a K does the gingerbread house inside the Haunted Mansion. I don't know if you know the dining room where all the ghosts are. So they put a gingerbread house there every single year, and that gingerbread house is new And it's done from August on. They start making the gingerbread from August on. And it's the biggest thing ever. And that's the cool part about Decorating Disney. I'm like, why don't you guys have a sign out and tell everybody how much you do? And, like they're like, we just do this because it makes people happy.
Yeah.
But Carlos goes in, and with his kids, they put a couple of hidden Mickeys around it that only he and his 2 daughters know about.
Oh.
Carlos with the K. I like
Carlos with a K.
I like
and
Carlos
his
with a
daughter
K.
is now is in the business, and she's going to take over for Carlos. That's
cool.
where she wants to go.
Let's just say that as a producer, you need to love your projects.
Oh my
I'm
God.
pretty sure Ann loves
It's one of my
Decorating
favorite.
Disney's,
Yeah.
right?
It
Because we
was
keep
one of
coming
my
back
favorite,
to it.
yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but
I mean, for months and months and months, their people are getting cast for the Christmas parade and the Christmas dances and being taught new things. So all that stuff's happening all year long. But really, the stuff that you see, the 10,000 poinsettias, all that stuff happens in that 8-hour chunk.
And if people want to see Decorating Disney Holiday Magic, is there somewhere to see that?
Yeah, it is on Disney Plus. So if you have that streamer, you can search and find it, and then it airs on Freeform, who originally commissioned it, and they play it a couple times through the year. We did it a year ago. Whoopi Goldberg hosted it, and Sophia Carson. That's
pretty cool. So what we wanted to get into is how these ideas come to fruition, how it goes from an idea to you exec producing it, and you working with Disney or whoever, Freeform or whoever. How does that happen?
Well, I think the fundamental difference in non-scripted and film is that 90% of unscripted projects are commissioned, or a network pays you to do it. You don't do it first.
Yeah.
So their input, you come up with an idea and you pitch it, and then I think each network or streamer says, okay, you know what, I love that idea, and what's our version of it? So you don't, it's not one size fits all, but then they do take the risk and they pay for the production, and you do it together, and then it has a distribution channel. It is going to end up on their air. So you're not worried about where it's going to go. You're worried about making it hit for that audience,
right,
so that audience is thrilled and stays and comes back.
You now have an HGTV show that you're doing. Does HGTV have like different rules from other networks? And as a producer, do you have to adapt to those rules?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. So storytelling changes from network to network.
Yes. And I would say it's everything from the tone of the project, the budget, the way they set up the budget, the way they like to set up the schedules, the type of talent that they want. So it's a lifestyle transformation show, which you see those all over. But HG has a really fun, specific way that they have cornered the market on to make audiences really enjoy that transformation. Whether you're going to redo your house or not, you could sit down and watch that show and enjoy the humor or the eye candy or the satisfaction of, in 1 hour, something's going to go from soup to nuts. By the end of it, you're going to be like, all is right with the world.
Right.
Which you don't feel if you're watching a Game of Thrones. I don't feel like all is right with the world when I get to the end of it. But definitely these kind of shows.
I love those shows. They make me feel good.
But that's like we were talking about earlier about films. Like each one has, like Netflix is different than Freeform and different than. So it's the same thing in the unscripted
You have to be
space.
flexible and collaborative, it seems, in both mediums so that everyone gets what they want. The network, the producers, the ideas, there's a lot of people involved. In what you're doing, actually, there are likely more people involved in approving things than in film.
It depends on what network it is and the culture there and how many layers you have. But I do think it's also incumbent on producers to still be creative and think out of the box and disruption and all those crazy words that people say, and you're like, oh, don't say that word. But it is our job to come up with new things because they're also looking for creativity and new things. If they had every answer, they would just sit there and shut us all out and say, we'll do it ourselves. We'll do the producing and write the check and put it on the air. Yeah. But they're hoping we come up with stuff. So you don't want to go in and be like, hey, I just ripped off the 6 formats you have, and I'm giving you the same exact thing, but it's purple. It is still our job, even though you know what Netflix wants, you know what HGTV wants, you know what Freeform wants. You still have to put a twist on it. Get what's next, what's new.
Yeah,
And
give it your flavor.
Obviously, when you walk into a room as Ann Lewis Roberts, the executive producer, and pitch something. it's different than a young producer that doesn't have that much experience in television walking into a room and pitching something. For people who are listening, if you're a new content provider and you've come up with an idea for HGTV, for Freeform, for whomever, what is the easiest way to get your project made in the current market?
And just to speak to what you first said, I think if I do have any leverage with people that I pitch to, it's really just when you do a project, being respectful and hardworking and showing up. I mean, it's always my theme. If you do a good job for somebody and you work hard, there's a comfort level, because each of these, whenever you partner up, it's like a blind date, and your date could be psycho, and that's not what you want, right? You're writing them a check, and they're going to run away with your check, and they're either going to be respectful of it and work hard, or they're going to be, not. Right. And when it happens that they aren't, you never work with that person again, but you can't get back that moment in time or that great idea that y'all had that didn't work. And, that happens a lot. So I think, again, if I have any leverage, it's just over time working with people and delivering and doing my best to not disappoint any of us. But there are times when, when I worked at Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood, I would go in and pitch things. And because I was the magazine girl, anything in that genre, people were like, okay, great. Yeah. Talk magazine. But if I went to the right of it a little bit, they were like, oh yeah, we need somebody who does that thing.
So if you pitched an idea that was not magazine style show, they would be less likely to take your pitch as something that they would make because you just had no experience in that, according to your credits.
Right. And again, I feel like anybody who works at News or Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood, of course I feel like this because this is where I came from. But I'm like, we cut millions of things and we wrote about every genre. But again, that the new person doesn't have any comfort with you. They're like, hey, we're going to do the person who did 50 game shows, and you've not done a game show yet. So you kind of have to, each time you're proving yourself. Then I did a game show and everyone was like, oh, you're a game show lady. So you add to your toolbox, you get to have a game show to it. And so I have found, rather than be stopped by that, you do what you guys do. You package something. Right now, I'm not a show running executive producer. I'm the bring it all together executive producer. So if I have something that I know I don't have a huge track record with, I'll go and find whoever I think is the most kick ass in that particular genre, and I'll see if that person's available, if they respond to the idea. Showrunners are important, and I think talent's important, and I think it's important to go after the best. Why not? People like to work.
That's great. Do you think a straighter line to someone with an idea that doesn't have that much experience would be to go meet with a production company like Critical Content or like Roberts Media? Is it better to pitch a company like that has the contacts and then have them package? And you have to take sort of a back seat, but it's part of the building process of also becoming a producer and non-scripted, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have an idea and it's your first one or your first couple one, your job is to get your foot in the door by hook or by crook. However you do it, and it doesn't matter because you need credits. So your job is to get in the door. So if it's your one and only idea that you've ever had, and you think you're never going to have other ideas, then you probably should not do this thing for a living because you're gonna,
we've been talking about this.
Yeah, you got to give it away to get in the door, to get your credit and your foundation and move forward. So if I had an idea, I would immediately get on the World Wide Web, and I would say, who has done that thing at the highest level? I'd find out, do they have a company? If they have a company, I would go and I would call that company, cold call it, and say, hey, I have an idea. I'd love to partner with you guys. Who's your development person? Can I come in and pitch them? And there is a development person at most companies, Mark Burnett's company, our company, who will take your pitch. You may not get to the president of the company, but sometimes it's awesome to go into the development person because the development person is looking for their nut too. They want, they're like, what can I bring to my boss so I can shine? You go in, you sign away all your rights, you own nothing, and you should be super happy about that. Because again, if it's getting you in the door, then the next time either you liked working with that company and it felt good, or you felt not so good, then at least you have a credit and you can go to the next company and you said, hey, I did American Idol. No. Or I did, whatever it was, Barnyard Builders. And, and this time I want to have some leverage. This time I'd like to be a producer on it, because last time you watched everything they did and you sort of figured out, hey, how do I fit in? So I think it's a series of steps. And then at one point it's like Chutes and Ladders. Something really amazing happens and you go, "Rrr," and because of something you've done, you get to the next level. Also, every time you meet with someone, those 10 people disband and go to 12 other companies, and they're going to remember, like, hey, I like that guy with those ideas. Yeah. Go to anybody you can get to, and you can find people now. You can look up credits. Who's the number 2 on a show? Maybe the number 2 is going to be more likely to talk to me than the number 1. So and you can look up people's information and you can get to them. But partnering and giving it away in the beginning is the way
to go.
And
see, Roberts, I told you, give it away.
Give it away. So let's talk about this. So extrememusic.com, if you're doing a movie or a TV show or whatever, and you add a Christmas theme, I'm going to go on here right now and check out the Christmas, see if there's anything.
Decorating Disney is all extreme.
Is it really?
Is it really?
Yes.
I did not know that. That's awesome. I'm sure.
We love them.
Thanks, Russell and Manuel. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate you.
Good looking out, Russ.
So check it out. Holiday Hootenanny. That's one album. There's Santa's Girl. There's Epic Christmas. Winter with Juanita.
Oh, really?
Winter with Juanita.
Shall we listen to a track from Winter?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So, this one's called Sexy Santa.
Sexy Santa.
I like that one.
There's also songs that are public domain that I think you could record with your cast, or you can go to extrememusic.com and here's Silent Night, which is in the public domain that they've already recorded that you can buy from them. That's ghostly.
That is.
Right, that's ghostly. They've got Angels We Have Heard on High. Let's listen to this one real fast.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn.
That's sweet.
I like that.
All right.
So these songs
Will feel good for you.
Yeah, these songs composers took and gave them a new arrangement, put some voices on. You can go here to extrememusic.com, look for Christmas. Any of these Christmas songs, you don't have to pay for the song rights because they are in the public domain for some of these songs. Actually, most of them. And there's brand new Christmas songs. If you don't want to use an old classic, you can use one of the ones that they have created. But this encompasses all of it. So therefore, if you pick up that song that I just played, Angels We Have Heard on High, you pay for the rights here at extrememusic.com, and then you don't have to deal with rights anymore. That's it. You pay them, and you create a music cue sheet.
That's a pretty good deal.
And you move on. But there's hundreds, maybe thousands of Christmas songs on here. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. Some of them are brand new. And, I mean, it's funny because I didn't think about this till you guys got here this morning that let's see if Russ has any Christmas music on here, and there's tons of it. So again, extrememusic.com, doing it all and handling your Christmas needs for anything.
So if you're going to go indie film, you want to use your own music, bam, right here.
Boom. Well, if you're doing a Christmas scene or if you're doing Christmas stuff, that sounded like the Pentatonics as far as I'm concerned.
They were good.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
extreme music.
It's a it's a very cool thing. So hats off, happy holidays to everyone at Extreme Music and Russell and Manuel for supporting us. We appreciate you being, and he's coming back. He's going to be with us next year. Okay, cool. So I think the takeaway from this show is maybe in 2020, don't be so attached to your product, your ideas. Get out there, partner with people, get it made, get a credit, and create more stuff. See how it's done. And figure out if you can do it on your own next time, or at least make the contacts so that you have the contacts to pitch other people. But, it's not going to always work out. You can pitch 30 people and maybe only one of them is going to say, like, I really like you. I like your ideas. So make sure that you're out there doing it as much as possible. Cold calling, like Ann said, is a really decent thing to do. And don't, sometimes look, my advice has been go to the top and trickle down. But I usually am able to lead with one of the projects I've done that people know. If you don't have a known project, just go to the development person. Sometimes assistants in a couple of years are going to be in charge.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot in 30 years, that sometimes those people that are answering the phone end up being the people in charge of the network.
And sometimes it's just flexing that muscle, right? Just getting over the first meeting and then the second meeting, and then it doesn't feel so daunting anymore. But it's just starting.
So we covered a lot of stuff this year. What advice would you give anybody working, like trying to do something positive in the new year with non-scripted? What could you say that would help them focus this year on getting it done?
I would say you got to do your research too. You can't go in and pitch something to HGTV that really belongs on Netflix. Or you can't, go pitch something to a male skewing channel. People are like, I know what's on History. You actually have to watch what's on the History Channel right now and don't remember what was on it 20 years ago because they probably canceled everything from, the last time you saw the channel. So do the work, look up what's on the channel, see what's been canceled. Don't go pitch something they already have. Don't go pitch something that's their big property. Like you're not going to want to pitch ABC, American Idol, with from another country. They already have American Idol. So you do have to make sure if you get your foot in the door that what you're saying is valid. You're not going to just magically walk in there and impress everybody. You got to do the work and make sure you know. Along
those lines, if you watch a network and like it a lot, there's a very good chance that they're making changes right at that moment. So another thing that's really important to do is Google the network that you're going to meet with, because there may have been a press release in the past couple of weeks saying where they're headed, and you can find out a little bit about that.
Maybe you could use that line if they say, "Where do you see this?" Well, I know you guys are changing the direction of your
and you do.
programming.
And you do.
So maybe this could.
Oh, listen to you! That's a good pitch right
you
there.
Just planted that into their head. They go, "Wait a minute, are we changing? Here we are."
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
But then they are like, oh my God, this person's thoughtful and respectful of us. It's not just somebody who, got in the door. Like, and your friend Paul Buccieri does a really good job of it. I feel like he's in the news a lot trying to message to people because guess what? They don't want to take pitches that don't make sense.
Right.
It's why an assistant tries to force a log line out of you before you come in the door. It's why Paul Buccieri, who's this president of a suite of channels, is always saying, hey, here's what we're looking for, because they're hoping to cut to the chase to get more great ideas.
Let's get him on the show.
Take it easy. Well, this was a really cool show. We sort of covered a lot of interesting subjects.
Those Italian cookies were amazing.
The Italian cookies.
That's from Zia.
Oh, they're so good.
Zia Posano.
It's been a great year. I'm very grateful to have done the show with you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
much,
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Ann,
to think
for
you
being on
didn't
the
want
show.
to do this show, Robert. To think I had to
Didn't I quit once?
twist.
did.
You did quit once. And you realized.
Thank you, Ann, for being a special guest today.
And a
Thank you for
wonderful
having
host.
me.
And a wonderful host.
Thank you so much.
And
We're married, by the way.
We are
Yes.
married.
Oh, finally.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. And Lewis Roberts is married to Mark Roberts.
Oh, okay.
And definitely my better half.
What a lucky guy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
Thank you guys very much. I'm very grateful for my life and my wife and my kids.
Amen.
Dave,
Thank
have
you,
a
sir.
great end of the year. Have a great Christmas.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
You too.
thank you, buddy.
Appreciate
Thanks, Rod. All right. See you next time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still scared.
Let's go. Let's go to Disneyland today.
Let's go to Disney. You guys want to jump in the car? Let's go.
Love it there, especially this time of the year.